Cavalry is coming. More vaccine is on the way to our area. How much? And the vaccine hub's reopening after being shut down. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Natalie Pasquarella. Chuck is off tonight. Well, tomorrow, about a dozen vaccine hubs, once shuttered here in the city because of a lack of supply, will reopen thanks to a new shipment. Next week, the city will get an extra 17,000 Moderna doses as the state supply amps up. And this is definitely needed because right now, less than 60,000 first doses are left in the state. Governor Cuomo says the COVID infection situation has improved to the point where there is a plan to reopen indoor dining in the city, most likely at 25% capacity. That announcement is expected later this week. A lot of people waiting on that one. We have News 4's Andrew Siff live in Elmhurst with the latest on this new vaccine shipment, Andrew.
Yeah, Natalie, we can confirm. We spoke with the city health department. The vaccine arrived today, and that means at hospitals like this one and at hubs across the 5 boroughs, the vaccine vials are now there. The city, the state finally getting what they've been asking for, more vaccine. Just what the doctor ordered. More doses arrived today for New York.
It's vaccine, 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 and supply, supply, supply. And that's the ballgame right now.
More than 100,000 vials of Pfizer and Moderna now back at city hospitals and at vaccine hubs. The ones that had been closed will open tomorrow. The sites that somehow stayed open continue to get visitors from way outside the neighborhood.
You have people chasing this vaccine all across the state. And you'll have a site open up. You'll have people who will drive 100 miles to a site.
Or more. Minier drove her parents 156 miles from Schoharie County near Albany to the Fort Washington Armory in Upper Manhattan today. They got a slot by entering the apartment they still own in Midtown.
They were informed to go online and keep checking. So fortunately, yesterday when they checked, there were slots available.
Also arriving at the Armory today by limousine, Carol and her husband from the Upper East Side after a 2-hour wait on the phone.
It's crazy. That's all I can tell you.
Mayor de Blasio said that's not what's intended for sites in neighborhoods hard hit by COVID.
Community people have to see those sites are really for them. And they're not being somehow left out of sites in their own community. So this needs to be fixed right away.
And the governor said when Yankee Stadium opens as a vaccine hub in the upcoming weeks, local residents should get priority.
We need to target the Bronx. The Bronx has a very high positivity rate.
Meanwhile, the CDC weighed in today on the issue of second shots on a nationwide Zoom from the White House, clarifying there's a cushion to get shot number 2.
The second dose may be given up to 6 weeks or 42 days after the first.
As far as the city vaccine hubs that are reopening tomorrow, city officials tell me for the next couple of days they'll be making up for lost time. Those people who had their first shot appointments postponed finally getting to come in. It'll take more days beyond that before everything is running at full speed. We're live in Elmhurst. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
All right, Andrew, thank you for that. Let's move to New Jersey now. More than 642,000 New Jerseyans have been vaccinated. The state says it needs 2 to 3 times more of the vaccine than it's getting right now in order to vaccinate 70% of the population in 6 months. Now, in Paterson, if you take a look, people started to line up around 2 o'clock this morning for a vaccine that was first come, first serve. And this comes as the state records its first known death that's been linked to the UK variant of this virus. Now, the vaccine situation is so dire in New Jersey that Hackensack Meridian has capped appointments to avoid any chaos. News 4's Brian Thompson is in Edison with the exclusive details and the hope on the way.
Would you like the injection in your left arm or your right arm?
You can choose your arm, but choosing to get vaccinated is a lot tougher. There just isn't enough supply to meet demand. And now you can't even make an appointment with the biggest vaccinator in New Jersey. Hackensack Meridian shut down its appointment portal after filling slots through February 23rd. President and CEO Bob Garrett.
We're booked for a whole month in advance here.
Judy Platkin is lucky. She got in before they cut it off, appreciative, but thinking maybe they should just keep making appointments for months to come.
You know, if you're sitting here with no appointment and you're fairly panicked, I think maybe it makes better sense to try to get the appointments on place, and then should they be able to pull people forward, they could do that.
All states are expecting more vaccine doses soon. The president promising an immediate 16% increase. Governor Murphy even more optimistic.
It's not just going up from 105 to 130, but at that point, I think you're going up dramatically.
And that's why Hackensack Meridian doesn't want to make appointments months ahead, as Garrett told me exclusively.
It's a logistical nightmare to be able to rejigger and to contact people and to continually rebook.
But with word of more doses coming within days, Garrett did tell me this portal may soon be back in action.
You predict that you will be opening up your reservation site by next week sometime?
Yes, I think so. I think we will, sometime next week, I think we will.
Garrett says not only does he hope to open up the portal to their website and make more appointments available next week, but that soon Hackensack Meridian hopes to open up even more vaccination sites, likely going to urgent care centers and even possibly doctor's offices. It all depends, of course, on how much vaccine they get. In Edison, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.
Well, so far, Connecticut state leaders say that they've administered more than 300,000 doses of the vaccine. Yesterday, all states received some good news from the federal government. Connecticut's chief operating officer says the Biden administration's plan to increase vaccine allocation means that the state will see an increase from 46,000 to 53,000 first doses per week for at least the next 3 weeks. But even with that increased number of doses coming, the state says it is still really a fraction of what providers are hoping to get and to hand out.